My deepest sympathies go out to this woman's family. But I have to say something really controversial right now that's probably going to lose me a lot of subscribers. All right, guys, but I need to say it. So here we go. This is Face the Facts Friday, where you get no BS takes on the latest vegan news, followed by a roast of the worst anti-vegan comments I've seen this week in our Meat Flakes of the Week. So get ready to get fact. Earlier this month, the news came out that a raw vegan influencer from Russia had died. Died of starvation, causing thousands of dingy dark basements to be immediately covered in as anti-vegan trolls spaffed their pants at the sad news. That's an image no one wants in their head. The media absolutely lapped up this story with countless articles on the dangers of veganism. This whole situation even came up in a debate that I had with Charlie Veach.
What is it? Banana woman who died recently.
I don't
think she's not representative of veganism. She would be like an extremist.
Now, of course, this is very sad. My deepest sympathies go out to this woman's family. But I have to say something really controversial right now that's probably going to lose me a lot of subscribers. All right, guys, but I need to say it. So here we go. If you starve yourself, you'll probably die. This Russian raw vegan influencer had been eating nothing but jackfruit for the last 7 years. I've got another controversial statement, and this one also might get me cancelled. If you dehydrate yourself, you're probably gonna die. This raw vegan influencer boasted about drinking no water for the last 6 years. Again, not a good idea. One last controversial statement just to really finish you off. If you are eating and drinking like she was, you probably have an eating disorder and you should seek help immediately. It's always the same with these stories. Everyone comes out and blames an obvious eating disorder on veganism. By that logic, you have to blame every non-vegan with an eating disorder on non-veganism. It doesn't make sense. Things like this happen all the time. People focusing on veganism as the sole cause of all the world's problems. For example, the media loves to shout things like, vegan parents starve their kids with veganism. Well, what about Lucy Letby, the British nurse that just got charged with killing 7 babies in her care in a hospital? She's a non-vegan who literally murdered 7 babies. Are we going to say her non-veganism made her do that? She actually killed one of these babies by overfeeding them with milk. That was most likely a cow's milk formula that they use in the hospital. So did she kill that baby with non-veganism? That person is a disgusting scumbag who deserves to be in prison, just like every other person who does this kind of thing to innocent animals or humans. They're scumbags, regardless of whether they're vegan or not. Ricky Gervais wins this month's prize for Absolute Legend of the Month. He just absolutely demolished a bullfighter on Twitter. The story is this bullfighter over in Spain just got absolutely smashed by a bull. He took a massive horn right up his stinker.
Right up Main Street.
Ricky Gervais had something to say about this situation, but before we find out what he said, let's have a look at this delicious video. Ouch. Ricky Gervais tweeted this. Good. Hope you ruined your tights. Now stop torturing bulls, you sadistic, sequined c***. Oh, it definitely ruined his tights, and I don't think there's going to be any tightness in that area for a good while. To be fair, though, that was probably already the case. I mean, look at his fabulous outfit.
Now, this has to be a joke. Vegan horse riding, Sophie. I refuse to believe this is real.
Vegan horse riding championship in Finland goes viral. The sport doesn't involve any actual horses. Instead, players ride a stick with a toy horse head, prance around with their own human legs, and even jump over barriers. The sport is officially called hobby horsing, with about 1,500 people competing in it from all over the world.
They say it's real. I don't believe it.
Rita, where do you find this content?
Oh, vegan horse riding. The left is losing their minds. The only riding vegans are interested in is riding each other. And by the way, they've been doing this hobby horsing stuff in Finland since the 1800s. It's just some old ass traditional thing. When you're so desperate to own the libs, you end up owning yourself. Fool.
This has to be a joke.
PETA has done another offensive ad campaign. They just can't stop these days. They put up a poster of a butcher holding a dead fish, but it's a holographic image. When you turn to the side, the dead fish turns into a dead cat. Point being that eating a dead fish is no different to eating a dead cat. The meat-eating hypocrites are furious. They complain to the Advertising Standards Agency, saying the ad is excessively distressing and highly inappropriate because it's close to a fish and chip shop where children could see it. Please, someone help! PETA's trying to teach my children to be compassionate to animals. Now, little Jimmy, don't you be listening to PETA. Cats are cute and cuddly, and that's why we don't kill them and eat them. But fish, they're ugly. That's why it's okay to kill them and eat them. But Dad, you said to treat others equally no matter what they look like. Shut up, Jimmy. Good news, though. The Advertising Standards Agency turned around and said, shut up, you little meat flakes. The ad's staying up. If you're a meat eater that finds this ad excessively distressing, the animals you pay to get abused and stabbed probably feel that your actions are a little bit more excessively distressing than this ad. Stop abusing animals for a sandwich.
You can do it!
In this month's edition of Look How Much Farmers Love Their Animals, this farmer decided to use a cow as a flag to support the England football team before exploiting her body and sending her to a slaughterhouse. And to add insult to injury, he was doing this to support the England women's football team, which, as we all know, isn't even real football. It's a joke, all right? Calm down, come on. We're all friends here. Seriously though, it is sick how many farmers see their animals as nothing but profitable objects. They aren't milk, meat, eggs, or flags. They're individuals. Lolita the orca, who was captured and spent over 50 years in confinement at a Miami aquarium, has died. She spent 5 decades in a small tank, just so some shitbag humans could come and stare at her. Honestly, I don't get it. If you want to go and see massive, fat, exotic animals, just head down to your local McDonald's or find your local anti-vegan basement. Ethical entertainment. The people trying to get other animals out of these aquariums are actually getting attacked as well. These activists protesting at a dolphin park over in Australia were just physically assaulted by some absolute moron. Look at this.
You fucking harassing people. No, you fuck off. No, you fuck off.
Why?
Hey?
Why?
Why do you have to arrest fucking people trying to do their work?
We're not arresting you.
You have.
Why are you yelling?
You
Go
have.
away. Go away.
No, fuck off yourself.
Go away.
Go on.
Go away. Peaceful activists.
Peaceful
Nothing
activists.
can go
We're trying
away.
to shut this
Go
park
away.
down.
Please go away.
What the hell?
Get fucked. I'm
What are you
leaving.
doing?
We're peaceful activists. We're peaceful activists.
Well,
What is wrong with you?
well, what's wrong with you?
You just fucking hit me. I'm a little girl.
Oh, little girl, so you got that in your face, have you?
What are you doing? Why are you assaulting her? Why are you assaulting her? Why are you assaulting activists? What? You just broken her phone.
Great work from the activists who intervened when this guy got aggressive. But as soon as it was clear that he was a threat to their safety, these activists were in the right to take the old wanker down. I'm convinced every vegan activist in the world needs to learn how to effectively Sparta kick someone into oblivion.
Right to film home. I'll snap you.
This is Sparta!
I personally want to see more vegans defending themselves effectively against this kind of violent attack. Are there any vegan fighters out there willing to put on some free Zoom classes to show people some self-defense tricks? Get in the comments and let me know. And thank you to all the activists who are getting out there and defending dolphins. You're legends.
Why would vegans want to pretend that they're eating meat? This has always puzzled me.
Let me answer that for you. It's because we want the same taste and texture, but without all of the violence. You know, the same as one of these young whippersnappers who plays Call of Duty, but wouldn't actually want to go and fight in a war and shoot people in the face. You see?
I can understand why people may have a moral objection to meat. I don't, but I understand why. But if you do, why do you want to pretend that your tofu is a lamb cutlet?
Well, I'd say the first step to understanding would be to learn how to pronounce tofu, good sir.
Well, I think it's partly because people don't want to feel that they're totally isolated. I mean, if you go to a restaurant, if there's, let's say, a fake lamb chop or some fake chicken, then perhaps you can feel part of that group.
Yeah, I agree with that. Some vegans would appreciate this feeling of not being left out in the situation. Yeah, but spoiler alert, this guy's about to say some dumb shit.
The good, old-fashioned, natural vegan, who, as you say, is someone who gives up meat, dairy, animal-related products for ethical reasons, wants to be a natural eater. And that's about good, sustainable, locally produced food, cultivated plants, forage food, etc.
Vegans don't care what you eat as long as you leave animals out of it. This guy is confusing veganism with a whole food plant-based diet. There are loads of diets a vegan can eat. There is no one vegan diet that every vegan has to eat.
I think it's more the kind of urban politicized vegan who is keen on badging themselves vegan. That's the sort of person who's buying Beyond Meat, the sort of person who's buying fake meat produced by a 3D printing machine in Israel that is so far away from the visceral, spiritual, emotional things that we love when we eat food.
They're not badging themselves as vegan, they're just vegan. Someone doesn't become non-vegan because they eat a 3D printed steak, you little melon.
So it essentially becomes a fashion statement about saying who and what you are, rather than being something that is driven by your internal moral compass.
It's very much a fashion statement. Now, obviously, I wouldn't, I can't speak for any vegan, but I think there's a lot of people who do plough that furrow.
What a dumbass statement that was. But hey, if being against animal abuse is a fashion statement, then just put me on the catwalk right now. I'm going to strut up and down that thing. I'll even put on some heels and get all fabulous.
I saw something on Twitter, I remember, last year, and it had a recipe for a steak, meat, and it had a recipe for one of these fake burgers, fake meats, which has God knows how many different ingredients in them, and I'm absolutely convinced this stuff is not good for you. It is the worst end of ultra-processed food.
He's referring to this dumbass meme, which Danny over at Lifting Vegan Logic put to rest with this counter meme. The vegan meme wars are afoot. But I think Danny won that battle. Wait a minute. I recognize this guy from somewhere. Oh yeah, he's William Sitwell, the guy that got fired from a food magazine for making a joke about, let me just check this, killing vegans one by one, ways to trap them, how to interrogate them properly, expose their hypocrisy, force feed them meat, make them eat steak and drink red wine. Well, William, take this as my formal invitation to an MMA cage match. You can try to trap and kill me, which should be easy considering that you're a big, strong meat eater. I look forward to hearing from your team to set this up. Our 8-year-old has announced to us that he's a strict vegan. We're all meat eaters in the house and we'd have no idea where to start accommodating him. There's also the cost implication of preparing separate meals. Should we try to talk him out of it? We're unsure where he got the idea, as up until 3 months ago, he loved the fortnightly treat of a Happy Meal. Oh, we're unsure where he got the idea. We've been desperately trying to hide the truth about where his food comes from for years. What's this about the cost of prepping separate meals? What is he, an 8-year-old bodybuilder? Does he need 5 meals a day, 1,000 calories a meal? What are you on about? Imagine considering trying to talk your kid out of having compassion for animals just because you can't be arsed to help him. Shitty parents, take note. You have one job, and that's to make the best life for your kid, not for yourself.
The animal activists are now turning their sights on milk. They say that in accordance with your focus on consumer protection, the label bovine mammary secretions should help the public understand that they are ingesting pus-filled mother's milk from a cow. I mean, come on, Jimmy, drink up your bovine mammary secretions.
So funny. I'm just going to keep laughing and not making a point because it's actually right. What they're saying is right.
The animal activists have been trying this crap for years. Maybe 20 years ago.
You mean bovine anal secretions?
Exactly.
What?
Bovine anal secretions.
No one said anything about that, mate. Why did your mind go there, I wonder?
Homo! Hey! We'll have none of that language here. The word is batty boy.
Batty boy! Batty boy!
Better!
They imagine that people are so squeamish. As squeamish as they are. I mean, I remember elderly relatives would refer to a particular dessert, like an ice cream with raspberry syrup on it, as monkey's blood. And it only made them eat it all the more.
Bovine mammary secretion isn't a cute nickname given to milk. That's just what cow's milk is, you numpty.
I don't think anyone's going to be scared by the word bovine or mammary. Or even maybe
me thirsty, man. I'm getting thirsty. I want some. Give me some of that bovine mammary gear.
I don't believe this. I don't believe you.
No, I doubt anyone would be necessarily scared, but they would be thinking twice about having a nice cool glass of bovine mammary secretions, I'm pretty sure. Unless they're little numpties like these two, hiding behind neatly packaged bottles of milk as far removed from the reality as humanly possible. What a pair of bellends. 2 cows fell from a lorry in England while traveling along a motorway, which closed the motorway for 2 hours while the injured animals were secured and moved to safety. I'm so glad these cows were secured and moved to safety. I guess it was a sanctuary transporting them just to go to the vet or something like that, and then just taking them back to the sanctuary because, you know, they were secured and moved to safety. Oh no, of course, this was a slaughter truck taking them all to have their throats slit. Secured and moved to safety? I'd hate to be your friend if that's what you consider secure and safe, Kelly. But let's just all lie to ourselves so we can keep eating burgers and not feeling guilty about it, right? Brilliant.
Sarcasm. Yes.
Now it's time to take a look at some of the dumbest comments I've seen over the last week in today's Meat Flakes of the Week. Animals eat other animals, and we can digest meat, so why shouldn't we? Well, animals rape other animals, mate. What does it matter what they do? Come on. I feel good eating a sweet shish kebab. And what are you going to do? What's a sweet shish kebab? Is that like a kebab made of candy or something? Don't ever compare child trafficking to animal farming. That is the worst comparison ever, and it is disgusting to even try to compare the two. It's just so disgusting to make this kind of comparison. It's just so disgusting. I can't type why, but it's disgusting. My kids are already in hiding from people like you. It's not people like me you want to worry about, mate. It's the people that take baby animals into slaughterhouses. They're the ones that are abusing infants, yeah? Hey, retard. You have no moral superiority. You are just brain dead stupid. I disagree. Plants do scream. For example, yanking out weeds that are medicinal out of a garden. I experienced this. Native Americans, according to a story that when loggers sawed down trees, sensitive Native Americans heard the trees scream. Cool story, bro. Can you tell us what a plant's vocal cords really sound like then? Spoiler alert, they don't have any. Another crazy spinach addict vegan. I'm addicted to nooch, not spinach. Vegans should be more worried about curing disease than stopping human trafficking. Instead, they try to spot others from engaging in the grand act of eating meat. Well, here's the beauty. You can be a vegan and you can look at curing disease and you can look at trying to stop human trafficking. I am sorry, I do not speak this language, but I will say you should go vegan. Was that all right, guys? Was that French enough? Let me get this straight. People raise animals to kill them, but don't people also raise plants and kill them as well? Plants are also living beings. They are the reason we exist. This guy must have a fucking nightmare every time he walks on grass. Low tier argumentation, David. I bet if you narrow down the statistics, on average, vegan parents kill their children by malnutrition far, far, far more than non-vegans. Low tier argumentation, David, followed by the words, I bet. You can't say my arguments are bad if yours starts with a complete stab in the dark guess. And it's not vegan parents killing them by malnutrition. It's moronic parents that don't know how to feed their children, neglecting them, in most cases, abusing them because they're scumbags, not because they're vegan. Next. Bro, just be vegan and leave us alone. Nobody cared. Nobody cared in the past. Does that mean they're going to care now? You know why I'm not vegan. Meat tastes good. Also, probably all of us are going to hell anyways, even if you go vegan. I mean, you aren't really making that big of a change anyways, so it's just vegan bingo. But yeah, you are probably going to hell, yeah. Eat meat, drink milk. No, my KFC tasted better when I saw the pain in your eyes. I mean, geez, man. You want to see a therapist about that. This cheeseburger is going hard right now, can't even lie. Well, that's what happens if you leave your food out for too long. It gets stale, it goes hard. You need to eat it when it's just been made, you know? God is absolutely cool with us eating animals. Although I doubt he'd want them killed in an inhumane way, carbon monoxide gas is the most painless way to go about it. You're probably right, actually. Carbon monoxide would be the most painless way to go about it. But they're not using carbon monoxide, they're using carbon dioxide, which burns their lungs from the inside out. And anyway, I don't think gassing anyone to death is something any god would want you to do. The best videos are when animals are screaming and suffering to make my dinner. Laughter. The FBI really should be scanning YouTube comments for potential serial killers and tracing their IP addresses, because that's one of them. There is no debate. Vegans are effing idiots. I would debate that. Mind your effing business. I can kill and process anything we need for food. I don't give a shit if it makes you sad. Here's a food source for my family. They're going to keep dying as long as we need food. See, he could be talking about people right here. I can kill and process anything we need for food. Again, FBI, keep an eye out here. I always assume these people are from America, by the way, because I think most of these comments are coming from dumb Americans. No offense, Americans. It's just the way it is. If God didn't want us to eat animals, why did he make them out of food? A lion would make the same argument about you. Just meat emojis. Well, that ruined my day right there. Gotta love the vegans. If we ever run out of meat, the vegans will be our next target because they have better blood and blood flow. Vegans are like, would you eat your own kind? Would you eat your pet? Yes, I would eat my own kind and my pet if I needed to. I have to admit, I look up to eat vegans. At least he admitted we have better blood and better blood flow. That's progress. I'm so going to eat non-vegan cheese and chicken strips today. Thank you, David, for making me want to eat more meat and dairy. I always love when they specify non-vegan cheese as if we don't know what they're saying. And listen, I'm not saying eat more meat and dairy. I'm saying don't eat meat and dairy. I know it's difficult to keep up with the videos and the words, all these words coming out. I know it's hard, but try and keep up, all right? Pay attention. If you want to support me making more videos about animal rights and veganism, please consider joining my Patreon team. You'll be directly helping me put out more videos with a strong vegan message, and you'll be able to talk with me directly using the Patreon messaging system. You could also join the YouTube membership team, which doesn't have that DM option, but does give you a pretty cool green logo on your name so everyone can see that you're an absolute legend. I can't do this important work without your support, so please do consider joining my team, and thank you again to everybody who's already a member. Keep being the absolute legend you are. I'll catch you in the next video.